We are building this car for drifting, but what we discovered during the rebuild might just mean it's never going to make it to the track.
There was a much bigger accident before and our seller masked it.
Here's what happened. A year ago, we bought this car with one goal in mind: to restore it and learn how to drift so that we could take part in one of the biggest car events in Europe. But things didn't quite go as planned. When we tried to register our 33-year-old Miata, it turned out we didn't meet a single requirement. So we made a promise to ourselves: next time, we will be ready. That's where Japfest comes in, a huge car event in Poland where drivers from all over Europe show up to race, drift, and admire some of the craziest car builds out there. Getting a car ready for something like that? Yeah, we've never done anything close.
I never removed the top cover of an engine before.
Actually, we've never worked on any car before.
Oh, I miss this feeling!
This is the second episode of our Miata series, in which we prepare the car for its first ever day on the racetrack. As you probably know, a regular car isn't built to handle the constant stress of drifting on a track. Its suspension, tyres, brakes, cooling system, and chassis focus on comfort and safety for everyday driving. They are not designed to handle the extreme forces of driving sideways. So far, we have fitted new brakes, tyres, and fixed the rear bumper, which clearly is not enough to get our Miata ready for the upcoming Japfest. This little Roadster still needs major modifications. We just have a few days for these changes. So let's buy some car parts. First up, coilovers. After a bit of research and a mini identity crisis,
We landed on BT Racing BRRS coilovers. Seems to be a popular choice by many, and for a good reason. Solid performance without sacrificing too much driving comfort.
now that we are close to bankruptcy, we can't be splashing out on fancy drifting control arms.
This time, we're keeping things on a budget. Kind of.
We've decided to powder coat our current stock control arms, which should do for now. For sway bars though, we got in brand new front and rear,
Stiffer bars mean less body roll and way better handling.
which is something we're definitely gonna need once we start drifting.
But that is something to keep in mind until later on.
Next, safety.
Because there's no way we're showing up to a track without a roll bar.
We picked up this V-style bar that's built to protect us if things ever go upside down. Literally, it's one of those upgrades you hope you never need but absolutely can't skip. And finally, we grab a set of frame rails. Because this is a 33-year-old Miata, these will stiffen things up and keep the chassis from twisting like a pretzel. So while we wait for all of those products to arrive, we're going to take care of the visual side of the car. And what we're going to do?
What horsepower?
Colour.
Colour. And what's the fastest colour out there?
The fastest colour is definitely red.
Yeah, at least 5 horsepower, right?
Sticking with that slightly questionable logic, we will paint the cam cover red and finally replace the damaged side panel and the front bumper. But we can't do that if these are still mounted on the car, so let's take them apart.
Oh, it's covered in. And this is the beauty of working on a 30-year-old car. Someone started taking the bumper off, took the bolts out, and these are now missing and we don't have them.
That was his project car, right? That's what he said. He looked at it and he was like, this.
From that moment, things got a bit interesting.
Can you give me 9? You just want me to do exercise, don't you?
Our patience and teamwork were put to the test.
9. There we go.
No, you were right. Number 10 was great.
So I did this for nothing. Maybe spray with DW20 or whatever it's called.
Yeah, can you get it for me?
No, not you jump out now. Like seriously, but you spray it here as well.
Can't see because I'm
I'll spray it.
Huh?
Let me.
What are you doing? Why?
Because you were so close, it would go and go back.
Here it is.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you got it. Right, the light here.
Nice. I don't think we can reuse this.
Yeah, that's sick. I mean, it's a lot of rust. And we've got a leaf. I wonder how long that's been in there.
But that is the least of our worries.
What's the damage?
Yeah, look at this. This entire frame has been bent in. And I don't know if we can replace it. There was a much bigger accident before and our seller masked it.
All of a sudden, our list of things to do is kind of expanding, isn't it?
The last thing we want is to mess up what looks like structural damage. It's not something we feel comfortable tackling ourselves. So we've asked our friend, who actually knows what they're doing, to take care of it for us. In the meantime, let's go ahead and add Adrian's so-called 5 horsepower and paint the cam cover red. Step 1, remove the cables, hoses and bolts. When you take a closer look, you'll quickly realise that renovation is long overdue. Oil has been leaking for years, leaving these stains everywhere.
But you know what? It is filthy. Not as filthy as you though. You need to stop this. This is family friendly channel. The engine cover is super dirty, grimy, and needs a proper clean.
Not even a trace of what you would expect from a typical car at Japfest. We are talking hundreds of custom builds, each one polished to near perfection. If we want to leave a mark, we have to stand out. But before a single drop of paint touches the surface, the foundation has to be flawless. Skipping this step means ending up with a finish that either looks terrible or peels off in no time. Once the surface was clean, we applied a coat of primer, let it dry completely, and then gently sanded the surface one last time to smooth everything out. And finally, we were ready to paint.
It's the big finale. This is where everything goes wrong. Ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Let's go. Uh-oh. How do I fix this?
I guess by pretending it wasn't there in the first place. We covered it with not one, not two, but 3 thick layers, and wow, it really stands out. Even now, it pops against everything else in the engine bay. And once we paint the rest of the car grey, the contrast is going to look amazing. It's exactly the look we wanted. Judging by how rough it looked before, it might have been neglected since the car was first made. It's kind of funny how it went from being something we tried to ignore to one of the coolest parts of the car. In the meantime, our friend came through and managed to fix the damaged frame, which means we can finally start thinking about getting the front bumper and side panel back on. First thing we did was check online for some brand new ones, assuming that it wouldn't break our bank. It did.
But we managed to find some of these second-hand ones for 50 quid. So this panel and the front bumper. But obviously, if you're buying these parts so cheap, they are not going to be perfect. So we've got lots of rust and lots of defects. We've got these larger pieces here that are literally falling off.
Sure, it might have been the cheaper option, but it didn't take long for us to change our minds.
But this is a lessons learned on each part. It's cheaper to get a brand new panel because this is completely rusty.
Turns out, this was just the tip of the iceberg.
I tried to remove as much of the rust and paint as I could, but the issue we're having is the metal has been eaten away so badly that I'm getting to the point where the metal sheet is so thin you can actually see through it down there, yeah.
What we thought would be a quick fix ended up turning into a whole string of unexpected problems.
Lesson for the future, don't put that much.
Every time we thought we were making progress, something else would pop up.
What? I got this massive... Oh.
We were out there day and night, after work, and pretty much every single weekend.
It's nearly 12 p.m. We are still stuck in the bloody garage. I want to go sleep, Patrick wants to go to sleep, but we are committed.
Sanding down and repainting the same parts over and over again.
1:30 a.m. If you ever want to do a budget car modification improvement, don't do the panels, just buy it. It's cheaper than spending 15 hours we spent on this. And it looks really bad.
It was frustrating at times, no doubt, but with every mistake, we learned. We started figuring things out, getting more confident and slowly making real progress.
What time is it?
Paint time! No, that's so bad, but we can't do this.
And somewhere along the way, we gained a whole new level of respect for the people that do this for the living.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Until we eventually pulled it off.
It's Judgment Day. We are putting back on the painted front bumper and the side panel onto the car, and hopefully it will look nice and smooth and no one will ever notice that this car has been in an accident.
First, we mounted the side panel, but this time, the roles have slightly changed.
Finally, Patrick is doing some work.
I'm not getting paid for this. When am I expecting my first salary, my first paycheck?
See, this is free internship. You should know, right?
Do you want me to show you how I scratched your engine cover?
No, don't do it. After spending hours, this cover did not even last a week because of this individual.
You have no evidence.
Turns out, maybe I should have let Adrian finish the job. Or maybe it doesn't matter after all. So before we added any more scratches, we got the front bumper back on and finally sorted out the rest, like the headlight cover that never fitted before because of the damaged frame, plus the indicators and lights. But it still didn't take long for Adrian to roast me.
What happened to the underside? What happened to the top? You left all the crappy shit and you're like, I will do the light!
Bring the camera, shut up and bring the
I will
camera.
do the light!
And with everything finally fitted, there was just one last bit of maintenance before we could take the car out on the road. And that is oil change.
Oh no.
What? It comes off really easy. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's disgusting. That's the sort of fluid that orcs come out of in Lord of the Rings.
That's what they used. Old Miatas oils.
Funny thinking back to that first video, driving over 1,000 miles on an oil that clearly had not been changed in years. This time, we didn't really have much of a choice, but to do a full service. New oil, new fuel filter, brake fluid, and transmission oil before we get on the track.
So now that we've got the car to the base level, we have taken it to a racetrack.
Here we go. Let's do it. you're driving like a granny.
No, I'm just, I don't know the track.
Whoa.